This is the story of why Anansi the spider has 8 thin legs. Once upon a time, a long time ago, there lived a spider named Anansi. Anansi's wife was a very good cook, but always Anansi loved to taste the food that others in the village made for themselves and for their families. One day, he stopped by Rabbit's house. Rabbit was his good friend.
"There are greens in your pot?"
cried Anansi excitedly. Anansi loved greens. "Well, they're not quite done," said Rabbit, "but they will be soon. Stay and eat with me."
"I would love to, Rabbit, but I have some things to do,"
Anansi said hurriedly. He knows if he waited at Rabbit's house, Rabbit would certainly give him jobs to do.
"I know," said Anansi. "I will spin a web. I'll tie one end around my leg and one end to your pot. When the greens are done, tug on the web, and I'll come running."
Rabbit thought this was a great idea, so it was done.
"I smell beans,"
Anansi sniffed excitedly as he ambled along.
"Delicious beans cooking in a pot." "Come eat our beans with us," cried the monkeys. "They're almost done." "I would love to, Father Monkey,"
said Anansi. And again, Anansi suggested he spin a web with one end tied around his leg and one end tied to the big bean pot. Father Monkey thought this was a great idea, and his children thought so too, so it was done. "I smell sweet potatoes," Anansi sniffed happily as he ambled along. "Sweet potatoes and honey, I do believe."
"Anansi,"
said his friend Hog, "my pot is full of sweet potatoes and honey. Come share my food with me."
"I would love to," said Anansi.
And again, Anansi suggested that he spin a web with one end tied around his leg and one end tied to the sweet potato pot. His friend Hog thought this was a great idea too, so it was done. By the time Anansi arrived at the river, he had one web tied to each of his 8 legs.
"This was a wonderful idea," Anansi told himself proudly. "I wonder whose pot will be ready first."
Just then, Anansi felt a tug at his leg.
"Ah," said Anansi.
"That is the web string tied to Rabbit's greens." He felt another, and another, and another. Anansi was pulled three ways at once.
Oh dear,"
said Anansi, as he felt the 4th web string pull. Just then, he felt the 5th web string pull, and the 6th, and the 7th, and the 8th. Anansi was pulled this way and that way as everyone pulled on the web strings at once. His legs were pulled thinner and thinner. Anansi rolled and tugged himself into the river. When all the webs had washed away, Anansi pulled himself painfully up on shore.
Oh my. Perhaps that was not such a good idea after all."
To this day, Anansi the spider has 8 very thin legs, and he never got any food that day at all.